Got my oatmeal cookie. I got my protein milk. Chocolate macadamia nut protein milk, guys. Happy Brook in Nagano. Check it out. I had some people asking me what books I'm reading. I told you guys before that I just read Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, and at the same time I'm reading a book called Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. It's a book on Stoicism. If you guys don't know this, you should check out this guy called The Daily Stoic, this guy called Ryan Holiday. He just talks about Stoic texts, and he wrote a whole bunch of books on philosophy and Stoicism. And if you guys don't know, Stoicism is basically the philosophy of controlling your emotions and staying calm in times of pressure, in times of darkness, in times of turmoil, just being able to keep your cool and recognize that everything happens for a reason, and just basically be a fucking badass with a huge hard cock. So I'm reading Meditations right now, written by Marcus Aurelius. Ryan Holiday talks about it a lot, so if you guys want to check out The Daily Stoic, check that out. He loves this book. Marcus Aurelius was he was the emperor of the Roman Empire, right? So basically, for that time period, respectively, the most powerful man, of all time. The Roman Empire obviously was, they fuck shit up. They were a bunch of savages. And he was the fucking emperor of the Roman Empire. And he wrote in his diary every single day, or his journal. Diary's kind of gay, right? Diary. His journal, right? He wrote in his journal every single day in a different language that wasn't even his first language, all about, it could have been just miscellaneous, frivolous bullshit occasionally. Just like shopping lists and shit. Today, I woke up and I emptied my load onto my stomach. And, and then other days, he actually says, really beautiful, well-written, just elegant philosophical shit. And while I've been reading this book, this dude's writing this shit in his second language. And while I've been reading it, I've really been thinking, dude, I talk like a dumbass. I'm talking like a dumbass right now. And I really want to improve my vocabulary, and I want to improve how I speak. And for all you motherfuckers saying that I swear too much, that doesn't mean I'm not going to be swearing anymore. I don't give a fuck, dude. It has been proven that people who swear are more honest. But anyways, I'm still going to be swearing, but I do want to improve my vocabulary, because a lot of times, I'm just going to be honest, I hear people use big words, and I'm like, damn, what does that mean? And then even if I do understand big words, it's really hard for me to, get them into my normal vocabulary without, into my vernacular without forcing myself. I just want to be able to talk, not just sound like a smooth-brained knuckle-dragger every single day. So I've been reading a lot. So I just finished Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I'm assuming you guys might know who David Goggins is. Badass Navy SEAL, ultramarathon runner, etc. And I'm about to start his second book called Never Finished. I'm also reading Cam Hanes, who's another ultramarathon runner and bow hunter. He's got a book called Endure. I'm reading that right now. That one's at home. The reason I'm reading so many books at one time is because sometimes you're just in different moods, right? Sometimes you want to read something that's just entertaining. Sometimes you want to read something that really makes you think and really makes you debate ideas in your head. And other times you want to read something like this, Meditations, which is similar to I don't know if this is rude to say, but similar to a religious text in the sense that it's like Proverbs. I'm just going to open up to a random one right now. How the mind conducts itself, it all depends on that. All the rest is within its power or beyond its control. Corpses and smoke. And every line has a number next to it. So it's just Proverbs and different passages. It's like you're reading fucking scripture, right? So it's not really something that you want to just read half of the book in one day. You kind of want to read one or two lines and then, write them down, take notes, think about them, ponder them, maybe even listen to a podcast about that line while you think about it. So sometimes I'll read a couple lines from this each day, and then I'll read the rest of them. I don't really want to just run through this book, even though I definitely will read it a few different times. But so far, my favorite line has been, I know I'm going to butcher it, but it's something along the lines of, he said, be a boxer and not a fencer. The boxer is the weapon. The fencer picks up a weapon and puts it down. And I don't really know what he meant by that. I'm sure a bunch of people will debate what he meant by that. But how I understood it was, actually relates a lot to my life. This guy says, like, don't rely on other things to pick things up. Don't rely on tools to save you. You need to strengthen yourself. If you're always relying on picking up tools, what's going to happen when you don't have that tool there? Could go for anything, man. Could go for all types of different crutches, drugs, alcohol. But anytime I see myself relying on something, if possible, I do my absolute best to get that out of the way and become self-sufficient. So that's just something I found interesting in meditations. If I find more interesting lines, which I'm sure there will be so many, obviously I'm going to share them with you guys. I'm also reading Practical Anarchy. Practical Anarchy is a book by Stefan Molyneux, who's another philosopher, and this is a book about practical anarchy. The idea of a world without any government, not even just like libertarianism, like small government, literally no government. I think it's super interesting. I'm very interested in that idea. I can't say that I'm 100% sold, but I think it's interesting, and it makes a lot of really interesting, really dope arguments. So I would encourage you guys to look into anarchy. Anarchy, by the way, it doesn't mean like what you might think it is, like you've heard in movies, like people running around and like Cyberpunk 2077 or whatever the fuck it is, just like shooting people in gangs and people getting raped left and right. No, it's like the idea that if there was no government, we could progress into a more advanced world, like, live in the future finally. So I don't know, I think it's pretty interesting. And then I'm also reading some Japanese books. I'm reading the manga called Berserk. Berserk is a savage ass manga only for alphas, and it's been really good for my Japanese study because like the kanji in there don't even have hiragana next to them, don't even have hiragana explanations, so I have to look up a lot of the kanji, and it's really dope. And it's been really good for my Japanese study. In addition to reading Berserk, I've been reading Gorinsho, Book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi, who, if you don't know, was basically like the baddest, most savage-ass, like the coldest samurai in Japan of all time. Like, this dude was a savage. This dude fucking like never lost a duel, was cutting off all types of people's heads. Like, there's this story of this like teenage, like 13-year-old challenging him to a duel, and he said he wouldn't fight the teenager, and then the kid like rushed at him or some shit, and he just chopped this kid's head off. Like, dude's a cold badass motherfucker. And then after he was like 50 or whatever, he went out into the mountains and just like retired. This is years and years, this is like 1,000 years ago or some shit, and he just went out into the mountains by himself, and he went down and he wrote a book on the warrior code and how to live and how to fight and like tactics. And I'm not that far into it, but I'm like 15 pages in, and it's, as you guys can see, it's all Japanese, so it's been really good for my studying as well. Definitely, since it is like older Japanese, even though it is translated into new Japanese, it's a little hard to understand, even though I do understand decent Japanese. So it's been really good for studying. Obviously, when I read it, I need like my dictionary out at the same time, but it's been really interesting. If you guys have read it in English, I know it's really popular in America. It's funny because like all types of people in America are like, oh, Book of Five Rings, and then I've brought it up to a few Japanese friends, and they're like, what is that? Like, they have no idea who Miyamoto Musashi is. So anyways, that's what I'm reading right now. I have like 5 other books at my place that I haven't started, but yeah, I like to read a couple different books at the same time. And one of my goals for this year is to expand my vocabulary and get just like increase my vernacular, if that makes sense. I don't know if that, like, just not sound like a dumbass all the time. So I'm doing my best, guys. Let's read some books. And by the way, when you read books, read out loud. If you read out loud, there's been like a bunch of studies on this. If you read out loud, it improves your comprehension, and obviously you're going to get used to just saying the words instead of just like hearing them and thinking them in your mind. If you think about it, like using your mouth also and then hearing it literally instead of just thinking about it, you're working so many more muscles than you are if you're just looking at the words and just pressing it inside your head. So I always read out loud when I'm reading. And yeah, alright, thank you guys. My name's yungjamez, YUNGJAMEZ. I appreciate you for watching. Hit me up on Instagram, send me a message, tell me that you want to wax my butthole, whatever you guys want to do. Thanks for watching, guys. Send me a Discord. Send me $5 on PayPal if you want to join my Discord. We got a whole bunch of homies in there talking about Japan, talking about all types of shit, bro science. Hit me up, guys. Thank you so much. I love y'all. Take care.